Amy Gleason with Plastic City Comic Con.
And Keith Gleason from Plastic City Comic Con. How's it going?
Just a reminder, our convention is Saturday, April 21st, 2018, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Wallace Civic Center in Fitchburg, Massachusetts.
Yep. $5 admission, free parking, kids are free.
Yep.
So don't forget, so mark that on your calendar and come down to the show. Enjoy some comic fun.
So what are we doing today, Keith?
We're doing our weekly comic reviews.
Nice. Nice.
So do you want to start first?
Sure, I'll start.
Okay, what do you have for us this week?
Do you want to guess what kind of comic I have for you this week?
I am going to guess it's a superhero comic.
No, wrong.
It's a horror.
Horror
oh my
comic.
God.
Not just horror. Look at that. Whoa.
Whoa.
Really scary horror.
We should preface it by saying that both our books are pretty diverse this week.
They are very diverse. That is true. So, although this is the third horror comic that I've been looking at, it is a very diverse comic.
All right, so tell us about Gasolina.
This is Gasolina, and I was drawn to it really just from the title, because I thought maybe it was a Spanish language book, and my Spanish is horrible. It's not good at all, but I picked it up. Lucky for me, it was written in English, so I could read it.
Yeah.
It does
I like
take
that
place.
First cover.
Isn't that cool? This first cover is cool.
It's like Tremors or something.
It's very good. I like the way it's written.
So what's the plot without giving too much spoilerish
all right.
stuff?
With no spoilers, it is about an American man and his Mexican wife,
Okay.
and they are living in Veracruz, Mexico, working at her brother's farm. And she has some kind of dark backstory that you're not really clear on. He's tangled in with the backstory. They seem to have been on the run in some respect. The overarching plot is it's a horror plot. There's some sort of evil entity / environmental threat. They don't get into it too much in the first 3 issues, but it's definitely there in the background. There's enough scary, spooky stuff happening. And then what's kind of driving the plot is this drug cartel storyline. And it's really interesting. It's about how like the drug cartels in Mexico are influenced by people from all over the world and countries from all over the world, and how that has an impact on the people of Mexico, and how the drug cartels are sort of this like evil dark undercurrent, and also there's monsters and evil stuff. So I like it a lot.
What would you give the story?
The story, I should mention, it's by Sean Makowitz, and the art is by Nico Walter.
Okay.
Colors by Matt Lopez. The story overall, I'd grade it an A. It's good.
Okay.
I like where it's going. I care about the characters. I'm 3 issues in. I want to know what's going to happen. I care about them. I feel like they're in danger, and I want to know where it's going to go. And the art, I would also give an A. I like it a lot. It has a lot of bold color. They do a nice job.
Is it the same artist that did the covers? Covers are very nice.
Yes, I believe it is. Yep, It is. It's the same art. Overall, I give it an A. This is once again by Image Comics under their Skybound label. So
it's another.
Another Robert Kirkman backed book.
What's that on the back? Is that like a map?
It's a map. Yeah. So this is where it takes place, Veracruz, Mexico, and you can see the little bug
symbol.
Yeah. Well, the bug is part of what's going on in the story. It's sort of like an evil infestation.
Okay. So that gives you a good idea. So you gave the writing again what?
I gave it an A. I like it.
Okay, and the art an A too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I really like this book a lot.
Now, since we're doing diverse comics this week, how do they? This is a lot of there's a lot of contention about this on the internet lately with everybody about how diverse characters are handled in a comic book.
Yep.
Now, how would you say the characters in that are done? Like, are they done like real? Are they treated like real flesh and blood characters? Like, are they written well, or are they just sort of like stereotypes with like no characterization or anything? You know what I mean? No personalities, basically.
They are very well written. The American is named Martin, and he is an African-American man. And it actually does come up. There's a little bit of like racism from the people who he's like
so
the bad guys.
Pull any punches,
but they don't pull any punches. But the racism coming from the bad guys isn't like cartoonish racism. It's what you might hear from like a bad guy. The Mexican people in the story, they're really well done too, and you care about them as people, and you get a feel for their life. And it's not like old Mexico. It's not something you would see in an old Western. It's like real current day Mexico and the people who live there and what their lives are like. From like the normal simple stuff, it's people in their houses doing things, and
cool.
It's good. It's really well reading a book about characters and people who are experiencing a story and people who are in danger. So it's really good. I like it a lot.
Yeah, that's okay. That's good.
Okay.
So I'm reviewing Silencer from DC Comics. It's from the DC's new line of New Age heroes, which is for those who don't know, DC is spinning a bunch of books out of the latest Batman event called Metal. So they're starting like a whole new universe, or not even say universe, but like I think 8 to 10 books with new characters, but also characters that have been around and that haven't been used. But most of them I would say are brand new. And this is this is the second book to be released. The first one was Damage, which I haven't read yet, but that looks great, even though it's just like a Hulk knockoff. But this one, I was really curious about because I really like both the writer and artist on this. The writer is Dan Abnett. He's the guy that the Guardians of the Galaxy movie is based on his version of the Guardians of the Galaxy. And John Romita Jr. is like one of those artists that's been around forever. But it's basically about a woman who used to have you can tell like had the shady past where she was like an assassin for hire, but now she's given up that life and she just wants to live the suburban life at home and be with her husband and her kid, and she just wants the normal life. But of course, in the first issue, she's at the supermarket and an assassin comes for her. She ends up having to kill the guy in the parking lot of the supermarket. Why her son's in the back seat of the car in the van.
Oh, that's pretty rough.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. But yeah, I liked it. I would say I'm gonna give it a little down on the marks on the writing though, because I feel like it's kind of like a storyline that's been done to death.
Yeah, like that
that
assassin who's trying to have a normal life and just can't
like,
get out of it.
Right, exactly. That and like Garth Ennis did a very similar book maybe about 5 years ago for Dynamite called Jennifer Blood. Same exact thing, basically.
Okay.
The one thing I thought was really neat, though, was she's called the Silencer because one of her powers is she just whispers shh, and like a cone of like almost like a orb of silence goes around her.
Okay.
So like she can like no one can hear like her fighting this guy. I think they can see her, but there's no sound. So it's like kind of she almost like doesn't attract attention to herself. That seems to be her power. But she also mentioned too that the power is like so rusty and like she hasn't used it in years that it like kind of hurts her sinuses to use it and stuff. So, but the thing I think this book has potential though, even though it was kind of like a boring like I've seen this before kind of storyline. I might hang in for another issue or two and see where it's going. So.
What makes it fall into the diverse comic category?
Oh well, the woman, as you can see, is an African American woman.
Okay.
They're just two characters, and they're just trying to have a husband and wife, basically, almost like Gasolina, where it's not a big deal about their race, So like, she's just a cool assassin character, and she seems to have some depth to it.
It's more like this is a character who has a background. That's
they
who
just
they are.
write the
It's
character,
part of their
and then like
identity.
their skin color is not even a thing, So I would say, it was good in that respect as well. But as far as the writing, I'm gonna go ahead and give it, like a solid like B, because I've certainly read way better from Dan Abnett as far as original content. John Romita Jr. I know everyone thinks he's like an overrated artist, but I think he's great. I don't know. I really like his stuff, and I thought his work in this was pretty top notch. So I'm gonna give the art like an A on this one. So as far as the DC New Age of Heroes go, this is the first one I've read, and if the rest are, as good as this or up to this kind of quality, I think the whole line will be pretty good. I'm looking forward to Damage and definitely the Terrifics. We'll see about the rest of them, if I have money to pick them up. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's all I get to say really about this issue. So
Okay.
All right. So
one more thing. Gasolina is now on issue number 5.
Okay.
I just picked up issues 4 and 5 today, so I'm going to keep reading it. I do recommend it.
And this one literally came out this week. It's a number 1, and it's John Romita Jr., so most stores will probably have a stack of these, so you can probably still get this one pretty for a little while anyways. All right, so well, that's it for this week's comic reviews. As always, Plastic City Comic Con is April 21st in Fitchburg, Mass. Saturday, 10 to 6. Admission $5. Kids free and free parking. So hope to see you guys there. And yeah, till the next video.
Bye, guys.
Bye.